Okay, guys, another good offense this week. Hot team. They had a really good big win there against Green Bay. Offense is playing good. Brady looks like he's real comfortable in the offense. They got some really good weapons outside. They got a lot of guys with different abilities as receivers. Tight ends are really good, and the backs run hard and they're physical up front. And they do a real good job protecting. So another big challenge. Seems like they get harder each and every week, but we're looking forward to the challenge. Any questions?
Yeah, Paul, Jerry McDonald, what to you was the most encouraging thing about the way you guys played against Kansas City in the second half, and playing that way against that opponent? What can it do for you going forward?
I just think probably, we have high standards here. We still, the points were too much in the first quarter, in the first half. There was one turnover that had a short field, but, we gave up some plays in the first half that was just kind of our fault, whether we lost leverage or got out of a gap or let the guy scramble around and make a play, which he does a lot. But, we went into halftime. We talked about it, made a couple of adjustments at halftime, and came out and just played a lot better in the second half. I thought we had a good understanding where they were trying to attack us, and I think the guys really followed the plan. And it was an all-day sucker. It always is when you're playing that team, whether it's covering the receivers to the back or the quarterback running around and making additional plays. But I think our guys really responded, and that was a heck of a ball game. I think a lot of our guys ran over 1,200 yards throughout the course of that ball game. The other thing I'd like to add is we had a lot of different guys playing. We had some guys go down, some guys weren't available to us with Hurst and Malik Collins. We had some guys step up for us up front, some guys in the back end. So we're really playing everybody right now. So it's all hands on deck for us.
Paul, you guys did a really good job getting pressure with 4 in that game. How does that make things easier for the whole defense when you're able to do that? And what kind of challenge is that against a guy like Brady who gets rid of the ball so quickly?
Well, you're playing against these kind of quarterbacks, when the guys that can drift and understand protections and where the pressure's maybe coming from, you're a little bit out in coverage. I think the handful of times we tried to blitz him last week, he made some plays on us. So when you can rush with 4 in this league, when you get to the end of the year and you're in the playoffs and you're trying to beat the good offenses, the key to it is rushing 4, picking and choosing when you're blitzing, and really Rolodexing your coverages. So you got to keep them always thinking about what coverage you're in. But when you're rushing 4 like that, especially against that guy who gets out all over the place in the pocket, you got to be disciplined with your rush. You got to be active with your rush so he can't get out and extend plays.
Hey, Paul, it's Tashawn Reed from The Athletic. You guys have had to practice a couple of times this week without Jonathan Abram due to the contact tracing program. How have you guys had to adjust just as a secondary without having him out there? And, obviously you don't know what's going to happen moving forward, but how are you kind of preparing for Sunday not having him?
Well, John's a big part of what we do, but we also have some guys that have been here, been around here that have reps in practice. We get them each and every week just in case guys go down. So, obviously Harrison, Heath, and Dallin Levitt, those kind of guys. We got some corners that have some ability to play safeties that can cover and play in a deep half. So, we got some guys that are versatile guys. So, we'll just have to see with John whether the situation is. If he's playing great, if not, we got to have somebody step up in this place and play at a high level.
Paul, Levi Edwards from Raiders.com. What have you seen so far this season from Clelin that may not show up on the stat sheet but has helped the team win?
Boy, I think he's getting better every week, Levi. He pushes the pocket. He's really good in the run game. You really got to look at it. Everyone looks at the sack numbers, but when you're pushing the pocket and creating the ball to come out sooner than it should, it helps everything else out. And I think he's done a better understanding of winning at the top of the rush more so than he did a year ago. Just finishing his rushes, where he needs to go based upon the protection or how the tackle sets him. Whether he's an inside hand punch or an outside hand punch on the tackle. I think he's getting a really good feel of those things, and I think he's only going to continue to get better because he works his tail off every day. I'd love to have 100 of these guys.
Okay, that's it. Thanks, Paul.
We're good. Appreciate it. Thank you.
He's gathered all the media with him. What's up, guys?
Hey, Greg. Tashawn Reed from The Athletic. Obviously, the last 2 days you've had an unusual practice, pretty much having to practice with your backup offensive line. How has that, sort of made you adjust in practice, and how do you go into a game preparing for potentially having to deal with that?
To be honest with you, we haven't changed our routine at all. Obviously, our numbers are down a little bit, but as far as our practice reps, we've continued to business as usual and next man up mentality. So nothing's really changed.
You say nothing's changed in the preparation, but how, when you're putting a game plan together, not knowing whether you're going to have your entire starting offensive line, just how difficult a process is that in terms of the planning during the week?
We mean that, Josh, when we say the next man up. I don't think that doesn't change your mentality and your thinking. We've had situations where guys have gone down this season. We've lost some players. We started Ty Williams. We started the season losing a wide receiver. So we've lost players, and that's just the mindset that we want our players to have and our offensive players to have, that everyone's got to be prepared to go at any time, and opportunities come in a lot of different ways, but we just prepare the same.
Hey, Greg, this is Omar here.
I'm Omar.
Hey, bud. Word just came down from the league. Your guys' game has been rescheduled to 1 o'clock instead of being the Sunday night game. Your reaction to that, and how might that change preparation heading into Sunday?
Again, it's the first I've heard of it, Omar, but our preparation is the same, whether it's a Sunday night game or a Sunday afternoon game. The only thing changes is sometimes if it's a Sunday night game, we may get an extra walkthrough on Sunday morning, but otherwise our preparation throughout the week stays the same.
Hi, Coach. What have you been told about how soon Trent Brown could come back and the other offensive linemen? And do you know if Trent Brown actually tested positive for COVID-19?
Really, Mike and John would answer those questions. I'm right now kind of just going on based on what they tell me. So that would be a question for John or Mike.
Hey, Greg, during the Chiefs game, there's been a lot of talk about surrounding Derek with weapons, and we saw what Ruggs can do, and with everything you've got around him now. Are we pretty much seeing him at the height of his powers right now? I mean, what are you still seeing things, and is he seeing things he can still do better?
Yeah, I think it's, and we talk about constant and never-ending self-improvement, in every area, and there are things that he certainly can get better at, but as we've continued to surround him with better players, I think we've seen better production out of the quarterback position. So that would help any quarterback. It certainly helped Derek this season, but again, we've got to continue to stay healthy, and it's still early in the season, but we like what we're seeing right now, again, from the additions that we had in the rookie class and our free agents, and really in the offensive line, which has been really important for us.
Hey, Greg, I was kind of wondering, when a team is so talented on defense and they can do so many things up front, the back end and so forth, where does kind of that planning start to say, okay, we gotta work on this, and this? How does that process kind of work when they're talented in so many areas?
Yeah, I think as you go about the weekly routine, we like to put it in terms of what's our winning routine each week and how do we start. And we always look for ways to run the football. How are we going to run the football this week? We like to tell our players that it begins and ends up front, but we have a weekly process that we go through no matter who we play, and we try to identify the matchups that we think are favorable on our side of football, and whether it be in the pass game or the run game, and who we want to attack and how we want to attack them. But our routine each week, we feel like during a regular season when we have a week-to-week schedule, in other words, we don't have a Thursday night game or a Monday night game, we think we have a pretty good schedule we put together on how we go about attacking an opponent. But it really doesn't change a lot each week, other than, again, trying to find those matchups, personnel matchups, or scheme matchups for playing a different type scheme. But we kind of have, a set routine as to how we go about it.
Greg, Levi Edwards with Raiders.com.
Sure.
Last week, John Gruden came out and said that he's still trying to find more ways to get Henry Ruggs involved in the offense after being hurt. Do you think after a week-long bye and as well as practice this week that you guys are definitely finding more ways to get him involved moving forward?
Yeah, I think when we drafted him, Levi, I think Coach Gruden would say, we got to find ways to get this guy the ball. And big part of the reason why we drafted him where we did is that we knew he would be a big part. But injuries are a part of it. I don't think it's slowed down his growth per se. I think when he's been out here and he's been healthy, he's been everything that we thought he was. So with him being healthy last week, it was easy again for us to, part of the game planning, to target him. And we'll continue to do that as long as he's healthy.
Okay, thanks everyone. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys, we got two here. Go ahead, Levi.
Clay Levi with Raiders.com. What are some of the biggest things that were instilled in you at Clemson by Coach Sweeney and Coach Venables that you still use today in the league?
I would just say a lot of things. Number one, I would just say it's the work ethic. You know, at the end of the day, you know, everybody practices, everybody, you know, comes out here, goes through plays, goes through drills, everybody does individual period, everybody runs, you know, routes and catches balls, this and the third. But it's not about that, it's about who can do it the best and who can execute it the best. So a term that always stuck with me was you got to be able to do the common things in an uncommon way, and that'll always give you success. So it's just about your work ethic and, you know, just the way you execute, I would say, for sure.
Hey, Clay, Jerry McDonald from the Bay Area News Group. You go into this game not knowing who you're going to have on your offensive line specifically, and today the NFL moved your game from night to the afternoon Sunday.
Oh, for real? What time?
At 1 o'clock.
Okay, gotcha.
It took it from 5:20 to 1:20. It's something to do with the TV schedule, but I'm just curious on how do you kind of put into perspective what's going on this year? I mean, this is, you know, I know it's your second year. You had a fairly normal year last year, but and then to miss the whole off season. How do you kind of put in perspective what 2020 has been like? I
mean, you know, at the end of the day, yeah, it's different. It's crazy. It's misfortunate, but you know, at the end of the day, we all knew that it was going to be some ups and some downs, and you know, had to deal with a bit of BS, you know what I mean, while you're going into the season. But you know, as far as just the game this Saturday, you know, we can line up and play tomorrow. It don't really matter to us, you know what I mean. At the end of the day, we love our guys. We trust in the guys we got here, regardless of whether, you know, those 5 guys play or not. You know, it don't really matter to us, you know. So we're gonna be ready regardless.
Clelin, how pleased have you been with your performance so far this year? Obviously, a lot of accolades from, you know, people like Pro Football Focus, that sort of thing, where maybe last year they weren't so kind, and this year they're really raving about you. And just around the league, a lot of different accolades for you.
You know, I don't really, you know, you see all the different things. You know, you can't really pay attention to it. You know, at the end of the day, I'm more so worried about the group. You know, as a group, we still got a long ways we got to go, myself included. You know, being a leader, you know, I just feel like got to continue to get pressure, put pressure on the quarterback. At the end of the day, that's all it's about. You know what I mean? Get sacks, put pressure on the quarterback, hits, and we got a good opportunity this Sunday. You know, against, you know, arguably the greatest football player ever. So Sunday will be a really, really good opportunity for me to go out there and really showcase my skills. So I'm excited.
Hey, Clelin, I was kind of wondering, talking about the quarterback, how have you kind of envisioned yourself getting to Tom Brady and taking him down a few times, and just how satisfying that would be to you?
Always. I've been thinking about that since I was a little kid, man. So, you know, just to have that opportunity. I've always been a Tom Brady fan, and to go out there and walk out on the field now, and to really look at him as like a, you know, just somebody I want to really devour. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be good. I'm excited.
Yeah, Clay, what could particularly the second half of that Chiefs game, but even in the first half, you guys got pretty good pressure on Mahomes. The fact that you were able to do that against that team and that offense and do it without blitzing a lot and doing it with 4, what does that do for you guys going forward?
And not even just that, you know, to do it with a group of guys who a lot of Raider fans were seeing for the first time. You know, obviously when you got Carl go down and Malik didn't play, and you know, we just had a lot of guys out. You see guys like Kendall and Chris come in. You know, it just really shows it was really the Raider way. Like, we don't really care who in the game. It's real, so just like we just gotta have this attitude, this tenacity, just to get after the quarterback. You know, forget everything else, forget the past games, forget, you know, who we playing against, forget that it's, you know, defending Super Bowl champions. You know, at the end of the day, it's a man in front of you. You got to go out there and whoop him. So that was our mindset. And, you know, to see the success that we had out there as a D-line group, you know, it was really, really good to see. And we trying to carry that, you know, into every game following this one that we just played.
All right. Thank you, Clay.
Appreciate you guys.